Hey, Deed Grabbers, it's Friday. Oh, no, it's not Friday, is it? It's Thursday. Gosh, man, I've been so busy lately, I don't know what's going on. So, anyway, today's Thursday. You know what that means. It's time for our weekly Facebook Live Goat Talk. So, we'll be back in 45 seconds. Good morning, Deed Grabbers. Welcome to Goat Talk for, this is February the 9th. Good morning.
Thursday.
I know, man. I can't keep up with the days. They're going by so fast. And, man, we're already almost to the middle of February.
No way.
Yeah, almost Valentine's Day.
I know.
Guys, if you are watching on Facebook, we would like to ask you to go to our YouTube channel because we put out a ton of videos there every week. You can do that at sub2tv.com. If you're watching us on YouTube, please subscribe to the channel and don't miss any videos. Princess Jodi here has just come back from the foreclosure auction. Sort of. It was a supposed auction anyway. And she's going to tell us about that. Guys, tell us, if you're here with us, tell us who you are, where you are, what you do. And if you have any questions, give us those because we're here today to answer them. Hey, Matt. Good to see you this morning. So tell us about the auction. Jodi, how'd that go?
Well, it was bare empty in there. So it was supposed to be, well, I don't know if it was supposed to be, but it usually is at 9 o'clock. And I got there and there's nobody there. And the guy at the sheriff at the door said, I don't think, they usually tell us when there's going to be an auction.
Uh-huh.
So I looked at the sheets and there's two that were supposed to go to sale today. And one was at, one was at 11, supposed to be at 11, not 9. And one was at 2.
Uh-huh.
So I was like, I can't believe anybody ever makes it to these things and buys anything because they're all over the map.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I'm hoping that might be a good thing down the road. Maybe we can show up one day and nobody knows about it because it's all confused and whatever, and we can be the only bidder.
Right.
That's what I want.
Well, you know, it's a real difference here in Arkansas as opposed to the only live auctions that I've ever attended in the past were in Georgia. And it's really easy in Georgia. The auctions are one day a month. They're from 9 to 4, and everybody just goes and makes a day of it out there. The people that are there to bid do anyway. They just go the first Tuesday of every month, and they just hang out there. And wait until the attorneys show up. And if you know the attorneys, you can usually, and you're looking at a specific house, you can usually call them up the morning of or the day before and say, hey, you know, when are you going to make it to the courthouse?
Right.
So you don't have to kill your own
You
day.
know, I don't remember exactly because I didn't go to the auction very much when I was in Wisconsin, but I'm pretty sure it was always on Tuesday, and it was always at the same time. And there wasn't, if it got postponed to a different Tuesday, not a Thursday afternoon or a Friday morning or it's really crazy.
Right. And they do them pretty much every day of the week, all month long here.
They're mostly on Tuesdays, I would say, but they can be any day.
Right. Okay.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it is. So a burnt run this morning, nothing happening. A deal that we're trying to put together was supposed to go, and we wanted to see what it went for this morning, but no joy. Hey, Kimberly Dalton in Chester, Virginia. Good to see you this morning. Joe Offers looks like he has a question. With sub 2, what proof do you provide to the seller that they will be able to qualify for a new mortgage after the property is sold? I can't prove anything to my seller. I don't know what their credit looks like. I don't know about their job income. I don't know what lender they're going to try to use. I can't prove anything to them. And if that's a sticking point for them, then we just can't do the deal. I can't promise them anything. What I can promise the seller is on-time payments until we sell the house. That's about it, really. So if they're looking for proof, they're going to have to go somewhere else. And so I would never try to promise them.
That was Jay, by the way. You need to put glasses on.
I need to put my glasses on. Okay. So I hope that helps, Jay. But that's it. You know what? If they ask for proof, I can't give it. What I can tell them is that we'll make the payments on time, and that any lender should give them at least the same credit they would give if they had rented their house out instead of sold it sub 2, and that's 75% credit toward their debt to income. So that's about it. Yeah, those auctions are crazy. Well, you know, everything doesn't, Matt. There was a super nice house on the lake here in December that was worth probably $500,000 that only went for $198 at the auction. In fact, we use that in some of our mailing as an example. You know, don't let this happen to you.
Do you know if that was the opening bid, or was that? Do you know?
I don't know. I don't have any way of knowing that at this time, because the only way we know what it finally sold for was because when the deed was recorded from the lender to the new buyer, we saw the transfer tax and we know what they paid. So that's it. But yeah, occasionally, and I'm thinking with the way the bidding runs around here, you have to have time to go at all. Like today, 11 and 2, and this is at the same courthouse. So you have to be there for one.
And there's one at the other county too, I believe, today, or maybe not. Maybe it's tomorrow.
Right.
But
yeah, tomorrow you have to go to 2 counties.
Run back and forth to 2 different counties.
Right.
It's crazy. But you remember, speaking of the wild thing, remember the last one we went to where that lady was bidding? She's just like, she just kept bidding it. Yep. She goes, I'm getting this house. I don't care what it costs. I'd pay $300, and it wasn't even worth $300. She goes, I'll pay $300 because I want it. And I was like, wow. So she kind of tipped her hand that, you know, she'd keep bidding up. So somebody could just bid her up if she wanted. If they wanted to. And then I asked her, I said, oh, what are you going to do with it? You know, after she won it, of course. I said, what are you going to do with it? Because I didn't know if she was a rehabber or whatever. And she goes, oh, I don't know. She was just different. But she was like, oh, I don't know. I might just, what'd she say? I would take a bath in it or play in it. Or she was just funny. I don't really know what. She was just, you know, kidding around with me. But it was pretty funny.
If you're a new investor, it really is worthwhile to you to go observe at several auctions, even if you're not ready to bid. And I'll tell you this story about when I first got started. You know, it's like I said, it was easy in Georgia. The auctions are one day a month. You don't have to go there every day of the week. But all of the players were there, and there weren't that many, maybe half a dozen. And then people that just come out of curiosity, and they're at every auction. We've seen those here. But when I first started going, I watched these guys, and it was a foursome. And they were long-term investors in town. And you gotta remember, this was, 22, 23 years ago. And they bought several properties every month at the auction. And when I was finally ready to bid on one, I had the cash to do it and wanted to buy something, and got down there. And of course, you need to calculate what your maximum bid is before you ever go, because you can really get caught up in a bid frenzy. Even if you know what your max bid is, just a few more.
Yeah, what's another $100?
Right. And I watched that happen to somebody at their first auction. It was really sad. But anyway, so I decided I wanted to buy something, and so I bid on it, and then they bid on it, and I bid on it, and they bid on it, and they got it. And okay, that's cool. But they did that to me the next 2 or 3 times that I wanted to buy something, and I was so angry about it. And I actually said to the guy, I said, I come down here every month, but it's only 3 or 4 times a year that I want to buy something, you guys never let anybody buy anything. Why don't I just bid against everything y'all want to buy too?
So they would overpay basically to bid
Well,
you
the
out.
guy told me, actually, when we got to be friends over time, he said, listen, he said, sorry about that. He said, but we can't let everybody have a taste or they'll all want to come down here and get them. So they would purposely overpay if it was a new person. So the new person would be, oh, well, there's no way I can buy anything.
Yeah.
And they would just give up.
I'm sure in the big picture that didn't cost them that much to do that.
Right. To eliminate other bidders, over time, it worked. The strategy worked really well for them. Right. And so, going forward, when I would come down there, they'd say, are y'all going to, you bidding on anything today? And I said, no, I'm not interested. But if there was something I wanted, I'd say, yeah, I'm looking at this one. And they said, okay, no problem. And so they wouldn't bid against me. And there's a legal term for that, and I think it's called chilling the bid or something, but it's actually against the law. But these guys, man, I was
going to say, it sounds more like the word is rigged.
They control what goes on down there. So even if you're not ready to be a bidder, you need to know who the players are down there and how they operate, because that's really important. Hey, Vincent, good morning. Hey, I don't think we saw you last week, so good to see you here today. Who else? We got Amanda here from Utah. Matt says, the scary thing is I was friends with a flipper who won a courthouse auction and got stuck with a $40,000 lien. Yeah, you need to have a conversation with that attorney or that bidder and try to find out. They've run title, so they know what the circumstances are. So you definitely need to do that. Equity marketing real estate. Hey, Chuck, good morning. Good to see you. Is that standard for liens to stay on the auction property? No, it's not, Matt, but you can have a second mortgage or a third mortgage doing the auctioning subject to prior liens. So you need to know about that for sure. Now, the IRS, if there's an IRS lien on the property, they do have a 90-day redemption. Even after the auction happens, they can come back and claim that house. I don't think I've ever seen that happen, but it's good to know that they can do it. Good morning, Carlos. Let's see. Are you using Streamyard to broadcast? Yes, we are. We like Streamyard.
Love it.
We know just enough to be dangerous, but we like it. Yeah.
No, we know. We're getting pretty pro at this.
Well, you might. You might, but I'm not that technical. I can barely turn this thing on and operate. Hey, Joyce, good to see you. Let's see. Vincent.
Wait, I want to show them the new feature we got.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
See that the little, what do you call it? The subtitles now.
Right.
Princess of a lot of things. Do you remember where that came from?
That was the person at iHeartRadio.
Yeah,
she was the queen of everything.
She says, I'm the queen of everything. And William said something. She goes, I thought that's what Jodi was. She goes, no, you can't be the queen of everything. You can be the princess of a lot of things, though.
But not the queen of everything.
Not the queen of everything, because she holds that title. So I decided I kind of liked it anyway. So I'm going to keep it for a while.
She doesn't know, though. You're the queen of everything. For sure.
That's true. In real life, I am.
Yeah. Vincent says, when looking for a buyer, do you look for buyers while you're still in escrow? Vincent, if you're selling with seller financing, if you're flipping, it doesn't matter. If you need a buyer, if your intent is not to hold that property, you need to start looking for a buyer the minute you get that house under contract, right away. Our last flip, we had that thing listed on the MLS when we got it under contract. And you do that with a power of attorney, but absolutely, you want to find a buyer right away. Matt says, plus it's hard to bid sight unseen. That is true, Matt. And if you've ever walked into a house that looked perfect on the outside, and when you walked inside, there was no floor, there had been massive water damage, water leaks in the pipes under the house, and all the joists were rotted out, and the whole floors had just caved in. All the kitchen cabinets were hanging off the walls because all the support had fallen out from under everything. If you've ever walked into a few of those houses, you understand that concept. But until you have, you just don't know. When putting new insurance in place at closing, do you recommend putting the property in a trust, or is an LLC acceptable? I will always recommend using a trust as opposed to an LLC, but yes, either one would work for you. Hey, Martin, we had lunch with Martin when we were in Oregon. Yeah, it's good to see you on here. Let's see. Can you assign a property during the 90-day redemption period? Well, I guess you're taking a risk, Carlos. But it's probably a small one. That's probably even if the auction's already occurred. Well, as long as the person you're assigning to is aware that that IRS has a 90-day redemption period, I guess as long as everything's is it 120? Well, Walter's in here. Hey, Walter. Walter's an expert. 120. Is it 120? Okay, my mistake. Walter says it is probably true. 120. But how often have you seen that happen, Walter, that they come back and do that? I think the IRS is pretty flexible these days. Most of our students are pretty successful in having those liens just removed if they buy sub 2, so that's usually not a problem. Let's see. When you list on the MLS and all the sites, are you listing FSBO, flat fee, using an agent? You know, we just use an agent now, Vincent. It's just easier. Don't you agree, Jodi? It's just easier.
It is. I mean, it's worth the cost, really. I mean, obviously you got to have a good deal, but
right. I know the last one that we did, it just let them field all the buyers and just submit the offers to us. It's just better. What is your criteria or limits when you buy at the auction? How do you determine your max bid before you get there? That's the same way you would do a rehab, Amanda. You get a really firm idea on what the after repaired value of the house is, and I
mean, whatever you pay is whatever you pay.
What you think the repairs are. That's why it's really helpful to go out and pursue pre-foreclosures, even if you can't make a deal with the homeowner and it goes to auction. And I've done this several times. At least you've had a walk through the house and you have a really good idea of the interior condition and what it needs. And that really helps you in your calculations. Otherwise, if you can't get inside, man, you're buying a pig in a poke. So you better adjust your bid accordingly. You better assume that everything's gone on the inside.
What's a poke?
A poke is a bag that you can't see inside. It's called a poke. That's true. Ask Sam Crane. I'm sure she knows. So,
I don't know if that's
okay. Listen, guys, I made a post yesterday, and it's something that coaches talk about a lot. We all talk about taking action and that sort of thing. You know, it's just so commonly heard. I made a post yesterday, and I said, do something, do anything. Don't let perfect be the enemy of good.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, and the stories among coaches, and we talk and sometimes we share these with everybody else. People that procrastinate, they don't take any action because they can't think of a good name for their LLC, or they don't have the perfect design for their business cards. And even my students sometimes fall into it. You see seasoned investors do it too. We'll talk about something new. We were talking the other night, in fact, about the postcards that we use to mail to pre-foreclosures. And you got investors that are doing multiple deals every month saying, hey, can I see your postcard? Listen, I get it. But these guys, they know. It doesn't matter what you say pretty much. You can mail a postcard that says, I want to buy your house. Call me today. And somebody will call you.
Yeah, because, the ones we made, well, I don't think we've gotten a deal from them anyway. So obviously they're nothing magical.
Right.
Yeah.
We've gotten calls.
Hopefully we have. But, we haven't got a deal yet. But,
right.
Yeah, I just threw something together that I thought might catch their eye and put a little bit of a message on it. That was it.
Right.
Just get something out there.
For sure. So
it's ugly.
in that way of thinking, I invited one of our Max students on here today to talk about a deal that she's doing right now. That and I just want her to really share it. She's
He's my
just
favorite.
the epitome of do something and figure it out along the way, and how it works out for you just because you're willing to take a chance. And we're so proud of her and her success and everything. So we wanted to bring her on today. So hey, Tracy.
Hey,
How are you?
you see my title, my deep end jumper.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. Action taker, money maker. That's what it ought to be.
Well, yeah, on this particular day, you'll be seeing if I can swim or not.
No. Okay.
Not in yet.
Well, that's cool, man. You're out there doing something though, and that's what's important. So tell everybody a little about you, and then tell us about this deal that you're working on right now.
Well, I stumbled into Williams Group about 3 years ago, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And thinking that I had a sub-2 deal and it didn't play out. And he said, well, the least I can do is let you have a membership in this group for a little while. And that has changed my life. I found my business partner in this group, and I found a group of people that hopefully I'll be in touch with for the rest of my life. But it has, I've always been a risk taker, but I'm doing some calculated risk taking. I'm learning, I'm just taking a chance. I know that I want to have a certain goal. I need to have money to live. I need to have certain things happening in my life. And so I just do something. With regard to the post here recently, so Phil is my partner and he's in the group too, but we do a lot of sub-2 and creative finance deals. But I also have this secret passion of having multifamily properties, one for each of my kids to inherit. So I just started putting letters of intent out there and talking to brokers. And this one broker fired back that he knew somebody that might do some creative finance with me on a portfolio of single family houses. And he put me in touch with him. And yeah, so this is where the deep end, I don't know if I'm sinking or swimming, happens. But he's got the portfolio. He likes me better than he likes the other potential buyer. There's only one other person, but he doesn't care for him for some reason. But he doesn't want to do the creative finance, really. He's just talking to me about it. So I had to find some private money, which was another thing in itself, which I actually did that. And then he puts me back on ice. I think he's thinking he's going to get more out of me, but you know me, that'll never happen. I'm willing to walk away even at this point.
You don't know about me.
Yeah, that's right. I'm willing to walk away. And I think that's probably the greatest asset that I bring to this deal is that if the numbers no longer work, I'm willing to walk away. Right. Or if the terms don't work, I'm willing to walk away. Mm-hmm. But in the process of doing this, and I think it's true I've done other commercial deals before, they're longer deals. It takes longer to work out the particulars. It takes longer to do the due diligence. It just takes longer. There's more moving parts to it. So in doing these different things, if he comes back and doesn't want to do the financing, I've started to pursue other avenues to finance the deal. And I do have somebody that's willing to finance me, but that changes all the other particulars, right?
Right.
So that's part of, I'm in the water and I'm doing this. So we'll see. We'll see if I sink or swim. But
I think you're going to be just fine. You've been working on this for a while. I remember you first started talking about it right before our last mastermind. And during the middle of the mastermind, I mean, we're talking constantly about this thing and what we can do. And you met somebody else at the mastermind who said, okay, I think gave you some tips and advice. And we were on a break at the mastermind and you come back in and you're like, he accepted the offer. So that was pretty amazing.
And then that's a journey of acceptance, though, him wanting to work with me and saying, I think I can make this work. We're still ironing out the details of that. Mm-hmm. So, we don't even have a purchase and sale agreement. What we have is I've gone and met the guy. I mean, he's a genuine person. We have a working agreement, but you know, I bet that's, if you guys have not been to a mastermind, you need to come, because my deal got funded at mastermind. People that have been there and they know how, Phil and I are doing business, they get to know the people and they'll take a chance on you. But
so
I think my claim to fame is just getting in the right place.
No, Tracy, you've done all of this. You got a few tips and things from other people, but you've done all of this. I mean, you carried all of this yourself. So when are you guys going to get this thing under contract?
I'm hoping. Well, so it may take another month, but I know that he's feeling the pressure. He's wanting it sold already because he's got some things he wants to do.
Right.
And my proposal to him sets up in a year, I'll have him paid, because he didn't want to wait 5. So I've got a plan to get him paid off in a year, and then get my other lender paid off in a year within that same year, and then have a smaller portion of that portfolio free and clear that's just cash flowing.
Oh yeah.
But that again takes time, and we will have to negotiate which properties. It's going to be 4 separate transactions. So I have to do some wheeler dealer stuff in the meantime. Right. So we have to handpick which properties go into which, so he doesn't feel like all his good properties are gone and then I'm going to skate on him or whatever. Right. So all that still has to be negotiated. Right. But I feel like once he just says, okay, I'm committed to doing the owner financing, the rest of it will come fast, because I'll drive over and we'll try to get that done in an afternoon.
So this is how many units?
It's 43 doors. But 2 of them are duplexes and there's 1 triplex. So it's really about 39 properties. Oh, that's awesome. There's a few lots in there. All the garbage that they don't want, they stick them in those portfolios.
Right. So what I want you guys to take away from this is, other than just Tracy's just a fantastic person and good stuff happens to good people, is that, a couple of years ago, she was trying to figure out how to do a sub 2. Okay. And now she's putting together, 40 plus door.
I know, right?
Deals. Right.
Listen, I watched and learned about sub 2, and I watched William's stuff online and just anything I could find for 2 years before I even recognized that something was a potential deal to reach out to William about sub 2.
And now these guys, she and Phil, are doing multiple deals every single month and just killing it. So congrats to them. You guys are great. So we're proud to know you. Looking forward to the next mastermind too in April. So we're going to have a great time.
I think we should meet up before that, though. Just saying.
Yeah,
I'm in.
Yeah. Hey, well, hang out with us. If you're not busy, you can help us answer some questions. We get some questions from people.
I don't think we have any new questions.
Really? I thought we had
raptly attending to a crazy story.
Is that it? Okay. I think Vincent's got a question here, doesn't he? Do you put the terms in the listing, down payment, rates, etc.? We don't put all the terms in there. If we're putting a seller finance deal in the MLS, we may put the down payment requirement and of course the sales price. But the rest of that they can find out if they reach out to us. Do you guys do any listing in the MLS, Tracy, of your seller finance?
We do, actually. We have done it. We've done it where we went and paid the service and we set up our own listing, and we've also used an agent. But so the one we set up, we did put our terms in the listing. So what we did was we just set it up like a regular Zillow listing. And it was also on the realtor.com and the MLS. But it said owner financing available, so that when people are searching for those specific terms, it would come up. Yeah.
Right.
Smart. Very smart. Okay. We got Randy Thomason. Good morning, Goat Head. Thanks, Randy. Hope you're doing well.
Joy's so full of flattery.
Joy says it's a toe sack. She knows what a poke is. See, Tracy, you know what a poke is?
I'm gonna tell you something. I'm country, but I'm not that country. I did not know what it was.
I don't know, Tracy. You're country with a K now.
I'm telling you,
I'm on Jodi's side.
He made it up. I'm pretty sure he just made it up.
No, Vincent loves my quotes. Well, I appreciate you, Vincent. If you guys have any questions, let us know, and we'll be glad to answer them for you here. We're halfway through, so we got a bunch of time. Well, Tracy, what else?
Hi, people.
What else is going on? What are you and Phil working on right now?
Yeah, well, in addition to all the really great things, we also have problems because that's part of the business, right? And so we had those 3 properties that were sluggish, and we are gotten rid of one of them. Is the ink's already dry? That one's gone. Another one closes on the 28th, and then the other one is, still it's going to sell, but it's still a problem. It's over in Georgia.
Right.
We had a partner on that one, and the partnership, I think, was the problem more than the property. So it'll sell. It's priced right, and we're coming into spring, and people are buying there. So
right. Well, it's this is the time of year to move seller finance stuff. People are getting their tax returns. They've got a little bit more money. I know in the past we always try to stock up on them when we bought multiple houses, try to get a bunch of them over the winter because come January people have money.
Right.
It's easier to move them. But the ones that are slow to move, you learn lessons about the properties to buy, things like that. So you know what to do moving forward for sure.
Well, you're either going to go to college and get an education, or you're going to get an education doing things.
That's right.
In my opinion, it's more fun to get an education doing things, but you're going to pay for your education one way or another.
What was that was it like a Midas commercial or what? You can pay me now or pay me later. I can't remember what that was. Pay me now or pay me later. Yeah, doesn't matter. Let's see what else we got. The terrific Tingle's right. Well, thanks, Mike. Gosh, Mike, you're almost my new favorite person now.
Mike's feeling the tingle.
That's right. He's feeling the tingle, isn't he? I haven't the video from that piano bar hasn't surfaced yet. I know, and that's a good thing. So let's keep that. We went to this piano bar that I was expecting one of those. It's like you go into a hotel bar and somebody's just tinkling the ivories or whatever,
just like background music or something.
Yeah, but man, this place was unlike anything.
Remember, we went to the other place, the steak place, and they had a guy playing the piano. That's what I thought it would be like.
Right, something like that. Wasn't anything like that though.
Oh, it was like a show.
Yeah,
like a Vegas show.
Yeah. Where is Tracy located? Do you need a realtor in Central Arkansas?
I'm in Birmingham, Alabama. But you guys are Arkansas.
Not Central though. That would be Randy. So, and I think Joyce. I think I met Joyce at Randy's. When didn't we meet her when we were at Not Touching? Yeah. Thanks, Randy. You always count on him for.
Randy bought all those tapes at that piano bar. That's why they're not out there.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. To be used at a later date.
All righty. You have a rule of thumb for the rate and term you ask for when you buy them seller finance. I'm looking at some properties with no mortgage, want to be reasonable but smart. One, everybody in this little group right here, I'm sure will tell you rate and term as long as we can get as little as we have to pay. I don't even mention interest. We made an offer to a guy, I think last week, the one down in West Fork. Remember that, Jodi? And my offer to him, I believe, but it was, whatever we're doing, let's say, for example, we're going to offer $30,000. We're probably going to offer $300 a month for 100 months. The offer is a no interest financing that we're going to do. Now, will we get that? Maybe not. Somebody may ask about interest, and of course your answer to that is going to be interest. Well, we usually don't pay interest. If you had the money in the bank, if we paid cash and you put the money in the bank, what would they pay you right now? And if they say, oh, I don't know, 2%, okay, well, we can probably do that.
Probably not even that.
Yeah, and that's the way we would present that. We don't like balloons at all. In fact, I tell my students balloons are for clowns. Balloons are a foreclosure in embryo because you don't know where the market's going, and they're just not a good idea. If you absolutely, positively cannot do the deal without a balloon, don't go any less than 60 months. That's the absolute minimum that we'll do on that. So that's what I would do, Juan. How about you, Tracy? What do you think? What do you guys offer when you're doing seller financing?
I mean, we really use about that same philosophy, but we don't mind doing the balloon because ultimately we're trying to make sure that if we had to, we could refinance out of it anyway. And we have actually done that on a property it was kind of messy and we refinanced. We had quite a bit of equity. We pulled that out and it went smoothly.
Right.
So, we don't mind the balloon so long as we're getting it at the right price.
I don't know what that is.
Hey, that's not my quote, Juan. I've heard that since I started investing. I think that can actually be credited to Ron LeGrand.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not sure. I don't know. I heard it but way back when I got started investing. And so I don't know about that. I can't take credit.
We just use it a lot.
We use it a lot. So, yeah. So, all right. Yeah, we bought your program looking for deals. Good for you, Joyce. I'm telling you, down there with the king, with Randy. Randy knows how to do that stuff, man. He's been doing it probably as long as we have. So you're in good company down there in his group. But anything we can do to help, just let us know. Okay, what else we got? Sometimes when the seller wants price, your soft terms will offset a high price and still cash flow. You bet. In fact, that's a tactic we use a lot with people that call us. We'll hit them over the head with a low cash offer and say, but we may be able to give you your price if you're able to give us some terms. And then they say, well, what's that? And go from there. Yeah, what's that mean? Exactly. Okay, we got something else. Chip. Hey, Chip. We were working on a deal. We'd like your thoughts. Great house, listed 258, shows 168, needs 35 in repairs. What are your thoughts on how to structure? Well, what does she need? Okay, what is she? Obviously, she's looking for 258, but she's got some flexibility, hopefully, because if you paid what she owes and put 35 in it, that would still be tight in this market, I think. I mean, if you listed it, if your rehab truly was only 35, you didn't have anything run over, you got it for 168 plus closing costs plus 35, you're going to be in it for 210. By the time you list it, pay commissions, what are you going to make? $25,000, $30,000? That's a pretty low return for what you got to put into it. So I don't know. My thought is, if my intent was to flip it, that I couldn't pay any more than she owed, and that would be questionable to me. What do you think, Tracy? Jodi?
Go ahead, Trace.
Oh, I mean, I think it looks skinny for a flip. It looks really skinny for a flip because it'd have to be perfect conditions. But if you've got money to leave tied up in the deal, you could do creative financing on the back end. That would be, to me, I don't know if I'd do that deal though.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to have that much money tied up in it.
Yeah. Now, if you were going to make 100, if you had the ability to make 100,000, sure, but
or if you didn't have to put anything in it, then 25,000 is great.
Yeah, you could do the Pam Fisher special. Make sure all the major systems are functioning and let them do the repairs. Don't put the whole 35 in it.
I'm telling you, I just don't like that. And I don't know where y'all come up with all these people that are willing to fix everything, because
we don't. Pam does that.
I don't know. I need to find out exactly what she's doing to attract those people, because in my experience in the past has not been good. I don't like repair for equity for that reason. I've had a couple of successful times, things a couple of times that worked well, but for the most part, people walk in a house that needs a lot of work and they're like, I don't think so.
Well,
I think her secret sauce is that they're rural properties, and people in rural properties can do more sometimes, or they're willing to do. They're just a different type of people that are buying there.
Well, that was my model in Wisconsin, though. I bought stuff for 60 cents on the dollar and sold it for 70.
Right.
And people were so happy to have, and all I would fix, if anything, is if, like one of the houses I had all the plumbing pulled out of it, foreclosure thing.
Right.
And so I got the plumbing put back in, and it was like $2,800 to do what they took out. And then And then I just sold it like as is, and somebody was thrilled to have that, 30% room to fix it up the way they wanted it.
Right.
So, it depends.
The market is just so precarious right now. I mean, it's just so, I mean, it could go either way. You understand what I'm saying? With interest rates, and and I saw somebody say the other day, should we expect a 10 to 15% correction, or do you think it's going to go off the cliff? And we really just don't know. All it takes is a couple of major things to happen. And it could be 2008 again. And then you have somebody else, well, the inventory's in such short supply. All I know is I talk to more and more people every day who have their house priced fairly, and it's been on the market for months. People just aren't moving.
When I was doing that was 10 years ago when I was in Wisconsin. So, and the market there is different too. So,
right.
We
talked to a lady last night that has a nice home on 8 acres. She's had it listed for $600,000 for 4 or 5 months. And of course we got her story. She called us from a radio ad, and she has cancer. They've moved. The house is vacant. It's got 2 or 3 large shops. This is a nice property. And it hasn't moved. They have it listed for $600,000. They owe $580,000. I said, so you're expecting to, bring $30,000, $40,000 to closing to sell it? She said, yes. I said, well, I'm not sure we can do anything with this house.
I personally don't think it's worth $600,000. I think it's like $450,000.
Really? I know that looking back at the records, they pulled out money, and I'm assuming because she's ill is why they pulled this money out. But I said if we could do anything, the most would be taking over the payments, and then of course we'd expect some cash from her to sell it. And
ask her mortgage too.
Ask her if that would be okay, and she said it was. Now PropStream says it's not, but we really don't know.
It may not be recorded yet. I don't know.
Right. But she said, absolutely, we'd do it. And then we've got one of the new foreclosures. This is a 175 house that's been listed for 4 months that hasn't sold. Now they're in auction. They only have $18,000 in equity. They just bought the house last year. So these houses just aren't, shortage of inventory or what? They're just not flying off the shelves is what I'm saying.
Right.
So I don't think you can count on anything that you got to put a lot of money in and then listing it. You better have a big margin to cut the price and make some deals. You can't be that tight.
So our days on the market here was they would have in a good property. They would have an open house on Sunday, and they would extend that contract receipt time. They'd get contract on it that day. But they would extend it to like Monday and Tuesday, and they would pit the buyers against each other. So they would close those offers out on Tuesday, but really they sold it the same day, right? They did the open house. Now the average days on market is about 30 here.
Right. And I read a statistic recently that like 2/3 of builders are offering concessions, interest rate buy downs, upgrades. And here, how many, because I know you did a search recently on this and we were talking about how many, we had to actually rule out in the filters when we're searching for 90 days on market, because half of them are builder houses.
More than half.
Right.
Yeah.
And all of these subdivisions, and there are tons of them here that you can tell they had just started. They've got, pipes sticking up out of the ground and and they're dead. There's no activity going on here. So shortage of inventory, I don't know about that. That's what people say, but I don't know if it's true.
I think that came about kind of suddenly. There's something about that story was a little fishy.
Yeah. Okay. So do we have anything? We've got Joyce. Have you had the lender call a note? If they do, what time frame do you have to satisfy the mortgage? Joyce, I've been doing this 24 years, and I've never, ever had a lender mention calling a note due. And we've done big banks, small banks, everything in between. If they do, what they're going to do is send you a letter. They're going to give you a certain amount of time to fix it. And then they will have to start the foreclosure process. And depending on how long that takes in your state, you'll have all of that time to cure it. Now, best of my knowledge so far is in Arkansas. That's going to take them on average about 90 days to foreclose from the substitution of trustee to the completion. So you're looking at a minimum of 3-4 months. And if you're communicating during this time, they're probably not going to do anything. And then there's even the question with some loans of if they can really foreclose on you if you're performing. So don't let the due on sale clause bother you. Make the payments on time, handle the insurance properly, and you're going to be okay.
Yeah.
You guys agree? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We're a panel here this morning, so yeah, got some backup. All right. So we got another question from Chip. She's in a divorce. She's only had the note for 6 months, and we want to sell on a note. I'm not sure I understand that. Are you saying the seller is getting a divorce? She's only had the house for 6 months. If that's what you're saying. If she's only had the house for 6 months, why does it need $35,000 in repairs? What's up with that?
She's listed it for $258,000. What is the actual ARV? Is it $258,000?
What was a party girl or what? What they had? What they been doing in that house?
Crazy dogs or?
I don't do flips. Sell it as is and sell off a note. I don't know. I don't do that. So let's see. Chip says we like to do no halves. Well, yeah, me too. I'm not doing that stuff at all. Big uptick in pre-foreclosures, sub-2 homes with low rates. My big strategy. That's a good strategy, John. I think you're absolutely correct on that. Do you feel opportunities are the same here in overpriced, investor-flooded Phoenix, Arizona? Mike, I think those overpriced markets, Arizona, Las Vegas, California. I was just talking. We just had a call with a girl from California yesterday. I think those are the most dangerous markets, personally. But obviously people still buy out there, but I mean, those markets are just super risky. I like the more stable, most of the South, the Midwest, they've been a little bit more reasonable in their appreciation. But yeah, places like Arizona and all those places scare me. We had somebody send us a deal in Arizona actually yesterday. That was a seller finance deal, free and clear property. But the seller had a 2-year balloon on it. And I said, that's a deal killer for us right there.
Wait, well, let's do this one, follow up.
Her mom had it as a rental.
Yeah.
I want to tell you, Chip, if her mom had it as a rental, how long did her mom own it? How long was it a rental? Because if she had renters that did $35,000 in damage, that's an insurance claim. I mean, I don't know.
It's just been neglect for a while or something.
Yeah, for a long time. I don't know. Okay, who was next? If you encounter.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna let you be the producer.
Okay, I'll do it.
Go ahead and do that. If you encounter a potential sub-2 opportunity, then discover significant federal tax liens, do you try to convince the lender to do a short sale? What do you think about that, Tracy?
What do you think, Tracy?
Well, there's all kinds of things that can get you on that. You can't. So a federal income tax lien is going to be on that property for 10 years. If you go in, you can file for them to release that lien. Be careful where you mail it to. Each section of the country has its own office that you have to deal with. But you can file for them to release the lien, and they will release it under very certain conditions. Like if the seller didn't make any money off of it, different things like that. I don't want to say all of them because it's so iffy. However, you can think that that's going to be done and it not be done. But there are other recourse that you can take after that. You can do federal lien assistance programs that they have out there to help with that. All those things take time. I turned around and did cash for deed or something where they're going to try to refinance in a year because you may not be having that issue resolved.
Mm-hmm.
But there's things you can do, but I would count on, and it's not from the date that the incident happened. It is from the filing date that you have to wait. So sometimes, they don't file them until later.
Right. But IRS liens have it built into the actual lien that they file. They expire in 10 years.
So you could potentially wait it out if you were going to hold it or something.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't know if the lien, I've wondered this, if we had done this in advance of that, I wonder if the lien insurance programs would have covered that. I don't know if they would or not. I've been wanting to ask that in the right form. You had a talk one time and somebody was talking about you can get lien insurance and it'll pay for the liens.
I don't remember that.
Oh gosh, well, I'll have to send you the message and we'll revisit it then.
You got to send me a link to my. Are you talking about you're talking about a bonding off liens, like mechanics liens? That's what you're talking about.
Well, you can buy it and then basically they're willing to insure it because they're counting on that the majority of those are not filed correctly or whatever. I guess they're able to insure it.
Right.
It was that. It was the.
I don't know if that would work for an IRS lien or not. That's mechanics liens.
Yeah.
That we used that once to bond off a mechanics lien so we could sell the property. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I don't know about in situations of IRS liens. I'm not sure.
There's a lot of documentation that goes into dealing with those IRS liens. Mm-hmm. They want to know everything about the transaction. They want to know about the terms of the transaction. They want to know about, like in our case, our guy died and we had to show that there was no inheritance based off of that property. And
right. Did that ever get settled?
We're looking into lien assistance program right now, and we have actually been consulting with an IRS attorney.
I got you. Okay.
Yeah, but we really can do it. So, we did it thinking that if we had to wait, we could. We were just hoping, and it just happened by the luck of the draw that interest rates have gone up and our buyers are happy with ours because it's better than what they can get if they refinanced after they pay points and all that kind of stuff. So they're sticking with it. So by the time they refinance, it'll drop off on its own.
Right.
But we're still trying to handle it just in case.
Yeah.
But those guys had told you that they would remove that. You had something in writing saying it was being removed, correct?
Yeah. Well, okay. So when we originally did it, I consulted with an IRS attorney and she said, oh, just do this and this and this. And she gave me the DIY how to do it. Mm-hmm. And I literally did all that. And then you have to have an attorney for them to communicate with. So we used our real estate attorney. Right. And then they just ghosted us and never replied back. So that was the problem, is that they're so backlogged and everybody is so backlogged that they just evaporated. So we eventually had to contact an attorney because they have a different portal that they go through with the government to deal with stuff.
Right.
I wouldn't necessarily stay away from IRS liens.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
I mean,
unless they're fixing to expire.
Yeah. Unless what?
Unless they're fixing to expire, or that person has no asset that they're going to have to do the transaction of going after them.
I think
I would say it's a fight you're not going to probably win.
Case by case.
Right.
Because like you said, if they get if they're going to receive no proceeds.
Yeah. And the other catch on that is that if we have to pay it, we analyze that into the deal too. So if we have to pay it, we still make money, right? We just don't make as much.
Sure. If the deal is really good and the lien's not very big.
Outstanding deal. It was worth it.
Right. Yeah. And also, if you intend to hold that property as a rental forever,
right,
then it doesn't matter. It can stay there.
No, I wouldn't disregard IRS.
I wouldn't rule them out because that's a negotiating point in price.
Right.
If you meet somebody that's got a house that's worth $300 and they owe $200 and they've got a $50 or $75 or even $100,000 IRS lien, and you can take that thing over sub 2 with no cash out of pocket, and it's fully encumbered, but you can make $500 a month in cash flow, man, buy it. I'd buy it in that circumstance.
I put an offer on another one that has 2 IRS liens on it. Right. They're low dollar. This one that I'm talking about to you was like $38,000 and something, but the other one that I put an offer on is like $5,000. for the two of them to combine.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. What's next? My producer. I don't want to fight.
Oh, that's right.
Yes. So
I'll do it. I'll do
do
it.
that. Okay.
I think this is what we just talked about.
So can we take over sub 2
And the lien.
and a tax lien, or does the tax lien get paid off? No, I would never pay off a federal tax lien. I wouldn't. I mean, because my intent's probably going to be just to keep that property.
Well, didn't we just talk about that? If it's small and it fits in the deal, that might be all right.
Yeah, but I would definitely try to get it removed first.
Well, I would try, but if they said no and it still worked, then I would.
Yeah.
So let's see what we got here.
Okay. Title insurance. Every investor.
I think she was talking about
insurance.
that.
Nope, it's lien insurance. Here, I'll send it to you, William.
It was that thing that you talked about before about bonds.
Carlos, title insurance is the biggest ripoff out there next to extended warranty. You know, when you go to Walmart, you pay $10 for a mixer and they try to sell you a $3 extended warranty. That's title insurance. Do you ever buy it?
I never do.
Why are people expecting full retail for a full overhaul rehab? Because they listen to the news, the inventory's low, the prices are high, and the realtor told them their house would sell in 5 minutes. That's why. Somebody has to whack them over the head and give them a dose of reality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I already did that one. Sorry.
Yeah. Can someone succeed with only Friday to Sunday prospecting and $1,100 to spend on everything?
That's
I'm
actually not
probably good. Yeah. I mean, when I got started, Matt, I worked 70 hours a week. You know, what did I do? Lunch breaks, anytime I had a few minutes, I cold called sellers.
70 hours at your other job.
Yeah. I mailed out letters. I mailed out postcards to pre-foreclosures. You can hire somebody to do that for you. You can spend part of that $1,100 getting other people to do it all through the week. Okay. What would I spend the money on right now? Radio. That's what I would spend the money on right now is radio.
Yeah, I mean, with $1,100, you could do it.
Getting started.
And then you have Friday free to go to the courthouse.
Yep. Yeah. You can do it, Matt, if you want to do it. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. That's almost half the week. You got plenty of time.
Tracy, how long did you think about doing it before you did it? Any of this?
Oh God. Well, it was Luke Mitchell that told me about sub 2 to begin with. And I remember I was sitting with him. We met at Starbucks and he was describing a sub 2 deal. And I remember thinking to myself, nope, that's too many moving parts, right? It's a lot of moving parts. And what if I start doing this thing and the other one? It took me 2 years to even recognize that, okay, this property, maybe that's a candidate for sub 2. But even then I just kept thinking, what if one thing starts and then you can't do the other thing, but it all flows together.
Yeah.
If you can do one thing in the sub 2 transaction.
When you decided you were going to do it, did you think about it a long time after that?
Well, I didn't have time to, because Phil and I became partners over that deal that actually went through, and we've just been doing them ever since. But yeah, I mean, you get it down to where it's just, meet me at the UPS and I got my papers. It's just a template, right? I'm building their name in.
Right. Good for you, Tracy. So many people are just so scared of everything.
I guess, yeah. I was going to say,
listen, I am the least likely person to be able to do something like this. I will tell you that.
Are not.
Anybody that is looking at it as a big, daunting task, it's the monster that makes you think it's bigger than it is. It's not. It's doable, because I'm telling you, if I can do it, anybody can do it.
That's true. And that's actually true about so many things. Everything is bigger in your brain than it is in real life.
For sure. Yeah. Jodi, when she heard about sub 2, she came to, I had a partnership with some other investors, and we had a website back, I don't know, 15 years ago. And she was on the wholesaling part. And she said, man, I ain't messing around with that sub 2 stuff. That sounds all crazy.
I knew who William Tingle was. And he was that guy that just has people give him houses. I'm like, that nobody's going to do that.
That's right. You just never know. Okay. We got time for a couple more questions. We got to get out of here, and Tracy's got to go back to some deal making, and we got to go door knocking. We're going door knocking today. So
yeah.
But Matt, you can
And
do it.
and plus, I don't. Some people may not have been on earlier, but I went to the courthouse this morning for a foreclosure sale auction, and it was they normally it's in the morning, and today it's at 11 and at 2. So I think we should swing by again and go back. This is the most convoluted schedule they have for.
Let me tell you something about them changing the time. Those people can come back and fight that if they don't do it at the time they're supposed to and get their house back.
Well, I mean, I think it's
enough about the foreclosures here in Alabama. If they deviate from that plan, if it's raining and they don't do it on the front porch steps or whatever, you can fight that.
It's on the board. It's scheduled for 9 to 2. It's just they don't usually do it then.
Yeah.
So the schedule, I just didn't check the schedule because it's almost always 9 at this place. The date fluctuates, but not the time so much. And so anyway, so we're going to go back, and I just think that could work to our advantage someday. Everybody doesn't know when the auction is, so they don't show up, and I'm the only one there. We're the only one there. We could just pick it off for what it's the opening bid.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I guess we got to get out of here, man.
Wait. I want you to just read this one.
Okay. Side-field sub-2 sounds crazy. Matt, you've been hanging around here way too long, and you've heard way too many people talk about it to think it's crazy. It's not crazy. We all do it.
My first sub-2 deal, I made $24,000. What'd you make, Trace?
About $76,000.
Hey, listen, the tail wags the dog.
That's
okay.
Right.
Yeah, you teach these guys to do better deals than you do.
Matt, get it under contract for sub-2. Get them to agree to terms, and then find somebody that's done a deal before. They will walk with you through it. You can either partner with them or throw them a little bit of cash to walk you through and make sure you don't get lost. And then when you get to the end of it, you'll say, "Oh, okay." And you'll be right out doing another one.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy all the way to the bank.
Yeah, that's right. We've been trying to get Matt in sub-2 max for years.
Mm-hmm.
He just won't come join us. So, man, can you imagine? You get Matt. He has all these questions, and he thinks it's crazy. But if he would come to a mastermind with us, man, that would blow his mind. Yeah.
So he's probably got some inside connections in there.
Yeah. Oh, man. I mean, you're like an agent, man. You're sitting on a gold mine there with code enforcement and everything else and all the contacts you've got. Man.
Quit sitting on the sidelines.
Yeah. Get busy.
Yep.
So. All right, guys, that is it. Tracy, thanks so much for joining us today and
coming to talk
hearing about your big deal. It scares me. I would be scared of 43 doors. So I like one at a time, slow.
Tracy's brave.
All right.
Tracy's not scared of nothing.
Like a honey badger.
All right, guys, we're going to get out of here, and we're going to go door knocking, and Tracy's going to go make some more money, and we're going to try to go back to the auction, I guess. You guys have a fantastic week, and talk to some sellers and buy some houses.
See you later.
All right. Bye-bye.